Hello everyone, I'm Rukhsar Haidry and welcome to the first episode of Podcast with Pravesha Group. Today, we're going to be talking about something that is very important in terms of a product. We're talking about packaging, which is not only crucial for its first impression, but it's also essential for the product's safety, protection, and its sterility. We'll be doing a series of podcasts with one of the leading secondary and primary product packaging producers. We're talking about the Pravesha Group, a beacon of excellence in the field of pharmaceutical industries. So let's dive a little deeper into it. And for that, we have Mr. Reza with us, the President of Global Business Development with Pravesha Group. Hello, Mr. Reza. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, Zaksa. How are you?
Very well. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Mr. Reza, please tell us a little more about yourself.
I'm M. Reza. I take care of the global business development of Pravesha Industries. As far as my packaging experience is concerned, I've been in the packaging field for the last 28 years. So I have a wide range of experience as far as packaging is concerned, starting from the foil, from flexible packaging, and also from the rigid packaging industries.
So, since this podcast is dedicated to Pravesha, can you please tell us more about Pravesha?
Pravesha Industry actually started its operations from the year 1999 with the visions to produce primary and secondary packaging materials basically for the pharmaceutical company. But over the next 2 decades, this company has introduced a wide variety of packaging materials which can cater majority of the requirements of a pharmaceutical companies.
So, when we talk about packaging, it's a very wide term. Can you please tell us what all categories of product packaging your company is involved in?
Yes, definitely. I would be glad to explain this to you. As I said just now, in the last 2 decades, Pravesha has introduced various product portfolio for the requirement of the pharmaceutical packaging. So what we have done is we have categorized our various products into 9 broad categories. Starting with HTP bottles, that is, comes under rigid packaging categories, where we produce HTP bottles, PP bottles, and PET bottles. Then we have a caps and closures departments where we produce different kinds of caps and closures, which is having a patent and non-patented also, CR and CRC caps. Then we have a printing divisions where we produce the monocartons, the labels, especially with the brails and non-brails, which is required for the pharmaceutical companies. We have recently started with anti-counterfeit solutions where we are using a holography as an anti-counterfeit mechanism, and then we are combining all the technologies of what we have into the primary and secondary packaging material and giving a much wider options to the customers, to choose the product which will be secured from counterfeiting. Then we have a HDP drums, basically for the chemical packaging, which is majorly being used by the pharmaceuticals company. We have a flip-off seals. We have many other products. So we have a desiccant where we are producing silica gel, activated carbons, and molecular sieves. Then we have gelatin capsules, which is we produced near factory in Tirupati. And recently we have also introduced silicone tubes and hoses. So these are basically primarily used by the pharmaceuticals company. So these are the broad 9 categories we are producing all our products.
Wow, now that's quite a vivid categorization. So, can you just tell us a little more about each of these packaging types in a little brief? Starting with rigid packaging?
Yeah, sure. See, basically, rigid packaging, as the name suggests, the packaging which is being produced with the help of HDP, PET, and PP granules, and we make bottles and jars. So that's basically comes under rigid packaging. So we have currently more than 200 designs of the HDP bottles and the PP bottles and PP bottles, which we are supplying to more than 50 companies across the globe. We have recently introduced also the PET manufacturing unit, where we are producing from 15 ml to 500 ml jars. And for as HDP bottle is concerned, we are producing from 15 ml to 5 liters of jars. So this HDP, PET and PP, all the bottles are being manufactured in a very clean room facilities because that is what is required to supply to all the pharma companies worldwide.
Well, that's brilliant, Mr. Reza. As we were also talking about the first impressions in packaging, I think printing is also a very important aspect of it. So, how does Pravesha address printing?
Yes, you are absolutely right. And in Pravesha Group, we realized that very early on, and so we started our printing press with Heidelberg and Gallus machines, which can print 8 colors of product, and it can also start from 30 GSM of paper, which we produce for leaflet, and also printing on the monocartons, which is basically used for the pharmaceutical product. We also produce different kinds of labels, which like hanger labels. There's a braid labels, which is a 4 layers label. So there are different varieties of labels what we are producing it. Recently, we are also introducing the anti-counterfeit mechanism also onto the labels, so that becomes a security product not only to the pharmaceutical company but also for many other company. And all our printing processes are completely GMI certified. Other than GMI certification, we also got certifications from flexography and lithographic associations.
Well, that's very interesting. You also just mentioned about anti counterfeit solutions. That sounds like an interesting topic. Can you tell us more about it?
Oh, sure. See, in today's world, counterfeiting has become a major problem across the various industry segments.
Right.
So we have recently introduced our anti-counterfeit divisions, where we are using holography as a major part of the anti-counterfeiting, and using a various special ink which is called security ink, and then we are combining those holography and anti-counterfeiting ink into our primary and secondary packaging materials. So even whether we are producing labels of varieties of colors, or we are producing monocartons, or we are specialized producing for any particular security solutions for any other industries, where we are using this anti-counterfeit product into that. So we are basically combining the anti-counterfeit technology into our all other technologies and giving a complete solutions to the industry.
Wow, that's actually more interesting as you tell me about anti-counterfeit. I just keep on getting curious about it. Well, Mr. Reza, looks like anti-counterfeiting solution is being utilized in the best way possible in your company. That's actually a very great news. I think we're really going to see some evolution in terms of anti-counterfeiting solutions and its uses. But you also mentioned about caps and closures as a category of packaging. But it is a very important part of packaging for bottles, etc., right? So, how do you differentiate caps and closures as a separate category altogether?
See, basically what happened is, if you really see these product from the constructions, the material construction wise, it is a part of rigid packaging, no doubt about it. Like as I said, we have a rigid packaging for which we are making the bottles. So this is also a part of rigid packaging. However, due to the process, the way the production is being happening, that the way the assembly is being done, the kind of the patent, the worldwide patent for new innovative technologies of the caps and closures are coming in. So the industry has kept it as a separate part of the industry, catering to a different kinds of market altogether, along with the regular jar manufacturer or the bottle, users and all those things. In Pravesha, we also kept it separately, and it's not only that it is goes along with the bottles and the jars, but other than that, also we supply caps and closures to various users. So we have a CRC cap, which is we call it as a child-resistant cap of different design, for which we have a patent, and we are supplying more than 50 companies worldwide. There's a constant endeavor from our side also to innovate and come out with the new products, especially on the caps and closure segments.
That's actually lovely. I didn't know that you have patents of caps and closures as well as
That's
a
right.
separate segment. But you were also telling me about so many products under one category, right? Like flip off seals and CR actuators. Can
That's
you
right.
put some light on it as well?
Oh, of course. There are more than 30 different products, and that is what we have developed in the last 2 decades. And that's what we are so proud of. Flip-off seals is of course one of the most important product what we have developed, which is basically used for various injectable vials. Apart from flip-off seals, we have developed thermoforming blisters, we have developed droppers, measuring cups and spoons, we have ROPP aluminum caps, which is basically used for the glass bottles also. We have a CR actuators, we have adapters, and then also we have also producing master batch, which is being used for our HDP bottles and PET bottles. So those are also DMF grade materials, which is okay for to supply to the US market as well. Apart from this, we also have ophthalmic bottles with a wide range in capacity in terms of its droplet size as well. We have recently introduced Tyvek pouches, which is being used in the hospital industries very much.
Wow, now that's quite a wide spectrum of products. But I think we're still left with a few more categories, like silicone tubes, capsules, and desiccants. Can you take us through the details of these as well?
The first, I'll start with the silicone tubes and hoses. This is a recent development where we are making single-use silicone tubes and hoses. And in the meantime, we will be completing all the necessary certifications. There are total 22 certifications we are completing, and the production is about to start in the silicone factory. So this is the phase 1. The phase 2, we are going to produce the gasket and O-rings in the phase 2 for the world market, and on the phase 3 we are going to produce for the healthcare segments. So that's the plan for the next year down the line. So this is all about the silicone. Second is desiccant. So basically we are producing silica gel, activated carbons and molecular sieves then in the different forms, in the sachet or in the canisters, and that's what is being supplied worldwide basically to the pharmaceutical companies. And the third is capsules. Yes, we have a factory near Tirupati in India. Have a state-of-the-art facilities where we are producing gelatin capsules in the range of 00 size to 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have all the necessary certifications like halal and kosher for the productions of gelatin capsules.
Wow, that's quite a large portfolio of your group. Now, you were saying that you also supply to 100 different countries. I'm sure these countries, like every country and every company, has a different standard, right? So, how do you maintain that standard?
Yes, maintaining standards is the first and foremost important criteria in our business of manufacturing. And as you said rightly, maintaining so many global standards and so many countries' standards, so many companies' own standards, maintaining them is a very important criteria. So what we do is we have a certification process. So our company, the manufacturing process and all other parameters are being certified by the global standards. So let's say, what are the kind of certifications we have? We have ISO 9001, we have ISO 14000, ISO 20000, we have 15378 and 13485. Apart from ISO, we have US DMF, Canadian DMF, Chinese DMF, we have GMI certifications, we have CE marking. So these are all the global standards who have certified our manufacturing process. So when we supply to any particular customers, so they look for these certifications. Once they know that we have the certifications, so they will also know that we maintain a kind of standards which they are looking at. That's how we maintain our standards. So these certificates are being evaluated on a regular intervals and they are recertified again for a specific period of time.
So, what are the new projects you're coming up with?
Packaging is a very vast subject and every product requires packaging. And we really have an ambitious plan and we are closely monitoring and making up our new projects. There are many, but which are very close to completions. One is we are starting with ABL and PBL Lamitube, which is basically initially going to be marketed in the pharmaceutical industry and later to the FMCG industries. Apart from this, we are also going to start manufacturing flexible laminate and pouches. Again, that is specifically initially for the pharmaceutical industry and then again extending it to the FMCG market. So that's the two new projects we are currently working on, and hopefully by the end of this year that will be marketed globally.
Amazing. Looks like quite an elaborate plan for the future.
That's right.
Having gone through the entire history of Pravesha and since its inception, what makes Pravesha stand out compared to its other counterparts in the industry?
So as I already said that we are basically a 360-degree packaging solutions provider. So when I say 360-degree packaging solution provider, it means end-to-end, whether it is a bottles, whether it is a caps, whether it's a labels, whether it is a cartons, or any other specialty products what we have specifically for a particular customers. Everything we try to produce it. I have already told you that we have a 9 categories of product portfolio what we currently have. So with the starting of ABL, PBL and flexible laminate, it will be 11 categories of product what we have. This, if you combine all put together, this is basically everything a pharmaceutical company requires for their packaging. So we are one-stop shop solutions provider, which means that any company who wants any of their packaging material, they don't have to look for different companies. They can always take everything from us, whatever is their requirement is. And I don't think there is any other company in the world who can cater so many different kinds of product under one roof. That's what the significance of Pravesha Industries all this while.
Well, that's great to know that Pravesha is an end-to-end solution providing company in terms of packaging.
That's right.
So you've been an experienced professional in the field of packaging, and you have seen the complete transformation of packaging over 3 decades, right? Where do you visualize and what kind of packaging do you visualize in the future?
Yes, this is really a good question. Every packaging company in the world is doing a lot of R&D into a different kind of product, which are also sustainable products. So that is one of the basic criteria, because there is increasing awareness of environmental issues. So the future of packaging will basically prioritize what is sustainable packaging, which means you may shift towards the biodegradable materials, reusable materials, recyclable materials. So we are innovating new and newer recyclable solutions. So all the companies will slowly adapt, eco-friendly practices to minimize the waste and the carbon footprints. Though there are energy sources which also has to be renewable, so that is how the whole thing will be. So sustainability will be one of the most important key factors in the world of packaging going forward. So this is one of the most important part of the sustainability. Second is there will be a minimalism and convenience. Sometimes there's a over packagings plays a big roles in attracting customers, but sometimes it has become too much. So we are trying to focus on minimalistic packaging, which basically prioritize the functionality and the convenience, for which will definitely gain the popularity in futures. So consumers are increasingly seeking products with less difficult packaging, excess packaging, and much easier, so that it is easier for them to use. So this trend of innovations will continue to have a minimalistic packaging signal, which is mainly on the importance of the functionality. So that is more important thing that's going to happen. That is also help reduce the carbon footprints. So, and the third being, we call it as a smart packaging. There are advances in technologies which will lead to definitely the widespread adoptions of technology in the packaging as well. It include features, let's say intelligent sensor to monitor product freshness. There will be interactive packaging that engage the consumer through augmented reality with using a QR code. Everybody is using a smartphone, so they can use the QR code and have the augmented reality. And even the packaging that can communicate with other devices for inventory management and authentication. So that is going to be an important criteria today or in the world, to have that kind of a packaging which will solve a lot of the problems. Fourthly and lastly, there's a digital integrations. So that is very important. So packaging will increasingly integrate with digital platform for enhanced consumer engagement and product information. That's more important, which could include QR codes, linking to product details or recipes, NFC near-field communication technology for interactive experiences, and blockchain-enabled supply chain transparency. So I think these are the 4 major points which we really see in future. That's how the packaging is going to move towards that. We are also working on the same platform. We are also working on the renewable, sustainable energy. We are also trying to develop a newer designs, minimalistic designs, so that, we reduce our carbon footprint. We are also working closely with the AI chips, which can be implanted with our different kind of a primary and secondary packaging materials. So we are also working towards that visions.
Well, I think with this, we come to an end of this conversation today. And thank you so much, Mr. Reza, for giving us an insight into Pravesha, its operations, its future plans and expansions. We're really delighted. Thank you so much for explaining all of that to us.
Thank you, Rukhsar, for having me. And it's really nice talking to you.
Pleasure
Thank
having you, sir. Well, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Looking forward to seeing you on our next episode of our podcast with Pravesha. This is yours truly, Rukhsar Haidry, signing out.